So let me give my gratitude and thanks to the organizing team who rediscovered me 4 days back and contacted me for this particular event. And I congratulate them for igniting the young minds. And my one suggestion to the team is, yes, you are organizing various workshops, but one more workshop you should organize with the help of Department of Community Medicine, and that is the research methodology workshop, which is again very, very important because whatsoever research is being done in our country, that needs a lot of improvement. And at undergraduate level, if the research methodology is taught, then the same methodology can be taken up during the post-graduation and wonderful researches can be carried. Secondly, yes, this is my alma mater. I have been part and parcel of this college. I joined this college in 1975 as a student. Did my MBBS, DCH and MD from this college. Finished my MD in 1985 and joined as faculty in 1985. And then from 85 to 2021, I was here as faculty. So I have spent 46 years of my life in this college, and I always say, मेरे वजूद पर LLRM का साया है, मेरे वजूद पर LLRM का साया है, मैं आज जो कुछ भी बना हूँ वो सब LLRM ने बनाया है. 3 cheers for LLRM. So when the students they approach me, sir, kindly take a lecture. So I said, okay, I would love to take one lecture, and depending upon the choice of the audience, I can make it interactive or I can make it a one-sided affair. But stress is something which I think all of you must have faced, felt, and be a victim of it during your career. How many of you have never felt any stress? Raise your hand. Everybody. So stress is part and parcel of life. So before I come to the topic itself, I would like to share a story, and I try to make this presentation, this talk as bilingual. So I will start with a little story for you to understand what life is and how you can avoid stress and what could be the impact of stress. Because stress is now considered as one of the most important factor as far as lot of psychosomatic disorders are concerned. Whether it is acid peptic disorder, whether it is coronary artery disease, whether it is diabetes mellitus. So whatsoever disease, non-communicable disease you are talking about, because they are related to lifestyle, and stress is one of the important factors, and we will be talking about that later on. So the story goes like this कि एक समय में एक बहुत अच्छे विद्वान महात्मा जी थे जो उनके बहुत अनुयायी थे और जो भविष्य में भी झांसे. तो एक दिन वो बैठे हुए थे अपना ध्यान में मेडिटेट कर रहे थे, तो उन्हें एक आवाज सुनाई पड़ी कि सुनो बंधु, तुम्हारी मृत्यु शीघ्र ही होने वाली है और अगले जन्म में तुमको सूअर का शरीर प्राप्त. महात्मा जी जो सबको उपदेश देते थे, जो सबको बताते थे कि जिंदगी कैसे जीनी है, किस ढंग से जीनी है, कैसे खुश रहना है, जैसे ही उन्हें ये पता चला, उन्हें क्या हुआ? बता सकते उन्हें क्या हुआ? उन्हें स्ट्रेस. तो स्ट्रेस होने का नतीजा ये हुआ कि जो भविष्यवाणी हुई थी कि आपकी मृत्यु शीघ्र 3 महीने में हो जाएगी, और उन्हें स्ट्रेस होना शुरू हो गया. तो उन्होंने अपने अनुयायियों को बुलाया और बोला कि देखो भाई, ये तो निश्चित है जो पैदा हुआ है उसे मरना है, और मेरी मृत्यु भी तय है और मैं शीघ्र ही मरने वाला हूँ, लेकिन मुझे ये भी पता चला है कि अगले जन्म में मैं सूअर का जो है मुझे बनना पड़ेगा. तो मैं उस योनि की पीड़ा को नहीं सहन कर पाऊंगा। तो अनुयायी उनके बोले कि गुरु जी बताएं तो हमें क्या आदेश है, हमें क्या करना है। तो वो बोले कि देखिए मैं उस योनि की पीड़ा को तो सहन नहीं कर सकता किसी भी तरीके से, तो मेरी मृत्यु के कुछ महीनों पश्चात तुम मुझे तलाशने निकलना। तो चेलों ने पूछा कि हम आपको पहचानेंगे। तो महात्मा जी बोले कि तुम मुझे ढूंढने निकलना और तुम्हें विष्टा खाता हुआ एक सूअर मिलेगा जिसके माथे के ऊपर तिलक लगा है। तुम मुझे ढूंढ लेना और मुझे मार देना, क्योंकि उस योनि की पीड़ा को मैं सहन नहीं कर पाऊंगा। जो भविष्यवाणी हुई कि 3 महीने बाद गुरु जी की मृत्यु होनी थी, गुरु जी 15 दिन में ही चल बसे। स्ट्रेस की वजह से, स्ट्रेस की वजह से शायद और लंबा भी जी सकते थे, बट स्ट्रेस था तो सारा सिस्टम बदल। खैर उनके चेलों ने उनकी मृत्यु के कुछ समय पश्चात अपने अपने हाथ में डंडे उठाए और ढूंढना शुरू किया अपने नजदीक, आसपास, दूर, और शीघ्र ही उनकी तलाश समाप्त हुई। उन्हें विष्टा खाता हुआ एक सूअर का बच्चा दिखाई पड़ा जिसके माथे पर सफेद तिलक था। शिष्यों ने उस सूअर के बच्चे को घेर लिया और उसे मारने के लिए अपने डंडे तैयार किए, और जैसे ही वो उसकी तरफ बढ़े तो वो सूअर का बच्चा बोला, मुझे मत मार, मुझे मत मार। तो चेले एकदम सकते में आ गए कि गुरुजी ये तो आप ही की आज्ञा थी। तो वो सूअर का बच्चा बोला, वो आज्ञा थी, अब इसी में मजा आ रहा है, अब इसी में मजा आ रहा है। I hope you got the message that you have to live in the present, and if you can live in the present, only then you can avoid the stress. That is the point number 1 which you have to remember. Now coming to the stress, what stress? What is stress? Can any one of you tell me? Can we quantify stress? Yes, you can quantify stress. Anything which increases your heart rate and blood pressure is designated as stress. You will have to understand, all of you are medical students, so you know that in the body there are 2 systems which are called as autonomic systems. One is a sympathetic system and other is a parasympathetic system. So stress is one which stimulates your sympathetic system, and once it stimulates your sympathetic system, it increases both your heart rate and your blood pressure and causes lot of changes everywhere in every somatic organ. Not only heart and blood pressure, but changes are there. And there are the other system is the parasympathetic system, and both the systems they work in unison. If the tone of one system is increased, the tone of the other system goes down. And there are mechanisms by which you can stimulate the parasympathetic system, and these are the documented evidence-based medicine mechanism like deep breathing exercises, yoga and meditation. But that is not the only way to remove stress, because stress is there in the mind, stress is there in the thought process. Of course, you can control your heart rate, you can stimulate your parasympathetic system, but there are other organs which are also affected. So when I say stress is an acronym. What is stress? Stress is an acronym, and the full form of stress, first of all you will have to understand what is the full form of stress, because it is an acronym and then we will be taking each word. There are 7 words I think, or 6 words in stress. S-T-R-E-S-S, that is 6 words. So the solution of stress is in the word stress itself. So what is the full form of stress? First is strength. Second is traffic control. Third is redesign. Fourth is erase, and I think this is the one of the most important one, and I will be taking a lot of time talking about it. And Fifth one is share, which is again absolutely important if you want to live happily. We will be expanding on all this. It's a very, very small presentation. It's not a very big presentation. And if nothing works, then surrender to God. Why is this so? So this is the stress itself is an acronym, and this is the full form of the stress. You see, if you want to avoid stress, stress happens because of your lifestyle. So you cannot find answers out of the lifestyle to control the stress. Of course, you can use medications. That is why I kept the topic entitled as non-pharmacological treatment of stress. Because if you want to live happily, then you have to change your living pattern. And happiness is an internal phenomenon. You must understand, happiness is an internal phenomenon. You have to go to a stage of neutrality. What we say, stage of neutrality. You are happy irrespective of the circumstances. Whether the circumstances are good, whether the circumstances are bad. You are not affected because happiness is an internal phenomenon. So if I am happy for 46 years, I was happy, I am happy, and I'll be happy till I leave this earth, because I have assimilated this phenomena that one of the purpose of my life, or the most important purpose of my life, is to remain happy. And how can I remain happy? That is dependent upon the quality of thoughts which I will be having throughout this journey of life. It's a eternal truth that once who has taken birth is bound to die. Rest is the process. So how do you live the process? That we'll have to understand, and we'll be now expanding upon each one of them one by one. So when we say strength, yes, again, medicine is going to play a part, because again it is important to understand the various components as far as the strength is concerned, because physical strength, your physical health is important. Because if you are sick, you must understand, having a sickness and having a feeling of illness, that makes a great difference. You may have the sickness, you may have the disease, but if you don't feel it, you can remain happy. But if you have the disease and then you have the feeling that you have the disease, then your thought process is stuck. And taken all the time, you are thinking about the same problem again and again. And that again creates stress, and that creates more disease. So physical is important. Of course, physical you can maintain by taking a good diet and exercise. That is beside the point. But more important than that, which I say, is this one, this aspect, which is the spiritual aspect. And it is said, where the science ends, the spirituality starts. There is another quote: are we human beings having a spiritual experience, or are we spiritual beings having a human experience? If you read Deepak Chopra, then what he says, the human body is made up of various tissues and organs, and these tissues and organs are made up of cells. And cells thrive on energy, cells thrive on ATP, which is produced by the mitochondria. Right? So our living is dependent upon one single factor, and that factor is energy. Meaning by that we are all bundle of energy. And once we say we are bundle of energy, then you will have to remember that energy can never be created nor can be destroyed. And that has got a strong implication as far as your living is concerned, as far as your fears are concerned, because that is very important, and we will be touching that later on. Right? So Deepak Chopra also says that human body is an optical illusion. We look different to each other. But in reality, science-wise, are we different? Are the cells in the body are different? Cells of my eye are similar to the cells of your eyes. Cells of my face are similar to the cells of your face. It may have some changes, because this is the optical illusion. What we are seeing is not the reality. The reality is, when you put your hand under an electron microscope, what do you see? Do you see your hand? You don't see your hand. You see only the cells. These are the cells. This is the energy which is driving you. So that is important to understand. And once you are able to understand, there is no difference between me and Professor Sanjeev. There is no difference between me and Professor Preeti. We are all bundle of energies. So why we have differences in life? And these differences in life basically create the problems of ego. Right? And we'll be talking more about it later on. So you'll have to understand the strength comes from the social conditioning. Since we are born, we are taught, don't do this, don't do this, you will do this, you will have this, you do this, you will have this. We are inculcated fear in our mind every time. But you have to be fearless if you want to remain happy. Because we have to accept everything whatsoever comes. You cannot. Can you control your birth? Do you have any control on your birth? Can you decide that I am going to take birth in this particular family? You cannot. It is not in your hand. So why do you think so much about it? Why do you think so much about it? So that comes from spirituality, you will have to understand. And then spirituality gives you the purpose of life. And the purpose of life, I have already told you, the biggest purpose of life is to remain happy. And then again we will be talking more about it, how you can remain happy. Happiness is an internal phenomenon again. I will keep on repeating, these are the key messages which all of you have to understand and practice. You must understand there is a big difference between having the knowledge and practicing that knowledge. Till you are able to practice that knowledge, you cannot achieve the state of neutrality. So we will be moving further beyond it because the time is limited, so I have to finish it this one. But the next is traffic control. You see why stress happens. आज मेरा वाइवा है, I am in stress. मेरा एग्जाम खराब हो गया, I am in stress. I got a supply, I am in stress. The moment you enter into medical college, the stress comes. After 1 month, there is a part by one, then there is a ward living, then there is a terminal, then there is another terminal, then there is a professional. Again, exam. But we are preparing you. You must understand. When you pass out, when you become a doctor, when you become a specialist, you become a super specialist. Every patient is your exam. At that particular point of time, you can't run away. I can tell you with my own experience, we have faced this kind of situation where my diagnosis is correct, my treatment is correct, but the patient doesn't understand. What to do? Does it give you stress? Will it give you stress? He says, no, it will not. But when the attendant will come, they will give you stress. You will not take it. That's the attitude. That is the attitude which is required. You see, another little story. I keep on. When you call a professor, you see, you can't have a time limit. The professor will always exceed the time limit. Right? You see, you invite me at your home for say lunch or dinner. आपने अपने घर पे खाने पे बुलाया और 10 तरीके के आपने पकवान बनाए। और मैं तो बहुत थोड़ा सा खाता हूँ भाई, है ना? मैं तो बहुत थोड़ा सा खाता हूँ। मैं एक रोटी खाऊंगा, 2 सब्जी खाऊंगा और बाकी भैया ये आपके पास। अब इस कहानी में एक बड़ा मैसेज मिल रहा है आपको। क्या आप बता सकते हैं क्या मैसेज देना चाह रहा हूँ मैं? ओके, रिक्वायरमेंट इज लेस और बनाने वाले ने ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस लिया और अच्छा, तीसरा इनका इंटरप्रिटेशन ये है कि उतना ही खाइए जितना आप टॉलरेट कर सकते हैं। और कोई मैसेज इसको थोड़ा सा पलट दें। आपको स्ट्रेस क्या होता है जब कोई कहता है यू आर ए फूल, यू आर ए किड, तुमने काम ठीक ढंग से नहीं किया, तुमने ऐसा नहीं किया, या तुम्हारी किसी से लड़ाई हो जाती है, वी स्टार्टेड अब्यूजिंग यू। ओके, 10 पकवान थे, मैंने तो खाए, बाकी सब किसके पास गए? किसने बनाया? तो अगर आपसे कोई बुरी बात करता है तो मैं नहीं लेता, तो मैं नहीं लेता तो किसके पास गए? जिसके पास थे। So you have to understand, we react. You see, in life, 90% times we react to situation. and 10% time we take action. So once you are able to understand it, and then you will realize, if you start practicing it, you will say, oh my God, why I am getting angry at all? Does it need my anger? It does not require, right? It does, every question does not need an answer. Every problem does not need a solution. You must understand, right? So ये भी समझना जरूरी है. और स्ट्रेस होती है क्या? रिपीटेड थॉट्स. आप हंस रहे हैं, आप टीम वर्क कर रहे थे, अरे नॉमिनेशन कराना है, मुझे स्ट्रेस है, सब लोग टाइम से आना है. अब आप सुबह से ही आपके दिमाग में चल रहा है कि बच्चे पता नहीं आएंगे कि नहीं आएंगे, प्रिंसिपल साहब नाराज हो जाएंगे, एसडी खाली है, स्ट्रेस हो रहा है सबको. अभी जो है सो है. यू कैन डू योर जॉब. दैट इज ऑल. एंड यू हैव डन अ वंडरफुल जॉब. एक बारी जोर से तालियां तो बजाओ. जो आपने कर दिया ठीक है, हो गया, ठीक है, सबको होता है स्ट्रेस, लेकिन अवॉइड करना सीखना है. अपने थॉट्स को. जैसे आप ट्रैफिक जैम में फंस जाते हो. अब आप जा रहे हो एक सड़क के ऊपर, आगे भी 50 गाड़ियां हैं, पीछे भी 50 गाड़ियां हैं. अब क्या होगा? स्ट्रेस है ना, क्योंकि सेम प्रॉब्लम इज देयर, टू मेनी टैब्स आर देयर, रिपीटेड, यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट इट, सेम प्रॉब्लम. यू डोंट रियलाइज कि आपसे ज़्यादा, आपसे दुगनी, आपसे ज़्यादा 100 गुनी प्रॉब्लम किसी और को भी होगी, वो मुस्कुरा रहा होगा. You will have to understand that you will have to control your thought. Who is the master of human body? Brain. And which portion of brain is the master? Which portion of the brain is the master? Cerebral cortex. Cortex is the master. Don't allow hypothalamus to take over, because hypothalamus takes care of your emotions. As a medical student, you will have to understand. When we used to have it, I used to say, okay, cortex, take care of hypothalamus. Why you are taking stress? We take stress because we are afraid of future. There is a fear of uncertainty. You cannot be certain. The only certain thing in life is uncertainty. Will happen, right? So you need to control your. Then R is for redesign. You see, all of you are working in medical colleges. So, and you say, यार क्या सुबह 8 बजे से क्लास शुरू हो जाती है, रात के 8 बजे तक पहले रहती है, हर प्रोफेसर चाहता है उसकी क्लास में तो बड़ी स्ट्रेस है. But then, if you love what you are doing, there is no stress. You have to change your mind. This is a lucky opportunity for all of you. You will not get these years once again in your lifetime. You can never be an undergraduate student or a postgraduate student again. And once you pass that time, then you will realize, oh, what mistake we made. We could have better utilized our time. So you love what you do, and still you have to redesign your schedule in a manner that it does not give you the repeated thoughts about the same thing. So you have to redesign your work. Maybe you have to curtail your sleep. You have to reduce your sleep time. And I am telling you, depending upon the specialty, I did my pediatrics. Till the age of 42 years, I never slept for more than 4 hours because nobody allowed me to sleep. So you'll have to, and it used to give a stress. I am not saying so. I am becoming wiser. At an old age, of course I am not old, I am young old. And I will not die old, I will die young. And if you keep that mentality in your mind, you will always be young. And age is only a number for that matter. Again, that is a message you must understand and take care. So you will have to redesign your work. And it is important for the people who are sitting in the first row. Because there is a lot of stress on HOD. So you will have to redesign, you have to share your work with your colleagues. Don't fight. Have discussion. And another dictum which you must understand and remember, that let us agree to disagree on certain points, but let us work together. There will be always different perspectives in life. So it is important at every level. It is not at the student level, it is even at applicable at the HOPRA. So we will go to the next. Now this is a very, very important slide. Anger, fear and jealousy. Ego. I told you in the beginning, you identify yourself in your body, you say, I am Dr. Harivansh. I am not Dr. Harivansh. These are few cells which are being called as Harivansh. Why I should have the ego? Egoistic clashes are very, very common, and these are very common in medical fraternity, I am telling you, with my experience. So that you will have to erase. You see, you must understand, if you fight with somebody, does it give you happiness or does it give you stress? What is your answer? Yes. बच्चों, अगर तुम्हारी किसी से लड़ाई होती है तो तुम्हें खुशी मिलती है या तुम्हें स्ट्रेस होता है? So it is wrong. And that is why I said, let us agree to disagree and move forward. Second important is anger. You get angry, somebody did something and you got angry. Who is being punished? अगर आपको किसी के ऊपर गुस्सा आया, किसी ने कोई गलत काम किया और आप गुस्सा हो गए, ठीक है? आप अगर गुस्सा हो गए तो पनिशमेंट किसको मिल रहा है? पनिशमेंट आपको मिल रहा है, क्योंकि आप एंग्री हो गए, आपने अपने सिंपैथेटिक सिस्टम की टोन को बढ़ा दिया। आपने सिंपैथेटिक सिस्टम की टोन को बढ़ाया, आपका सोमैटिक सिस्टम सारा अफेक्ट होना शुरू हो गया। It should be a controlled anger. I am not saying because there are people sitting here on the front row, second row, third row. Of course, they have to get angry, but it should be a controlled anger. What I say, one of the biggest attributes, of course, attributes are not taught, and maybe some other time, for those who are interested, can see that lecture on my YouTube channel, Attributes of a Doctor. And one of the attributes of a doctor is drunkenness. You have to do a drama, you have to show that you are in anger, but you are not in anger, so that your heart rate and your blood pressure is not increasing. But people think, students are thinking, oh my God, आज तो गया. But you are calm from inside. That is the kind of drama which every doctor has to learn. Because ultimately when you will be becoming doctor, all these attributes will be required and you will have to follow. Then third is the fear. Fear of uncertainty I have already talked about. The biggest fear, सबसे बड़ा fear क्या है? मॉर्टल फियर सबसे बड़ा फियर होता है। हमारे सब कॉन्शियस में लिखा रहता है, मर जाएंगे। बट गो बैक टू माय इनिशियल स्टेटमेंट वेयर आई सेड एनर्जी कैन नेवर बी क्रिएटेड नॉर कैन बी डिस्ट्रॉयड। इट्स एन ऑप्टिकल इल्यूजन वी आर लिविंग with a purpose, and if you can identify the purpose, you will always be happy. And the next which gives you stress is jealousy. The whole word, take home message, the whole word can be defined with one word, and that word is comparison. You always compare. You should never compare. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is unique, is special in our own ways. So you should not compare with anybody. And if you don't compare with anybody, you will never be jealous with anybody. And if you are jealous, that gives you a heartburn. अरे यार ये प्रैक्टिस में 100 करोड़ कमा रहा है, मैं तो जॉब में बैठा हूँ, मुझे तो 3 लाख रुपए मिलते हैं। या मैं प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ, वो तो मैं प्रैक्टिस करके पैसा कमा रहा है और मैं एथिकल प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ। अरे भाई, उसका कर्मा, उसका फल, उसका एक्शन उसको मिलना है। आपके कर्मा, आपका फल आपको मिलना है। You will have to understand this, and that you have to look at. Then the next one is share. This is again beautiful slide. This is a beautiful slide, and this tell you the whole crux of life. You see, when we come on this earth, we come with nothing. And when we leave this earth, we go with nothing. That reminds me a couplet, just to make you, to stimulate you once again, कि जीवन में क्या कुछ ना कमाया, क्या हीरे क्या मोती। जीवन में क्या कुछ ना कमाया, क्या हीरे, क्या मोती, लेकिन यारो कफन के जेब नहीं। लेकिन यारो कफन के जेब नहीं। You have to remember, we came with nothing. Whatever knowledge I required, and that is why I said, मेरे वजूद पर अल्लाह ने बसाया है. What I have learned, I have learned everything from Allah. My heart beats for Allah. My heart laughs for Allah. My heart cries for Allah. Right? And that is why when the students they approached me, I said, fine, everything and anything for you. If you are doing something, we are there with you. Because what I did, I shared my emotions, I shared my experience, I shared my networking. And remember, there is another dictum in today's world, you can note it down, right? Your net worth is your network. Your net worth is your network. The bigger network you have, the bigger things you can achieve, not for yourself, but for others. So you'll have to understand this, and that is why we made the alumni association, and I told you, right? If all of you come together, you can change the shape of this college. There are a lot of things which cannot be achieved by the government system. You have to go beyond the system, and you need to understand the importance of coming together, sharing your knowledge, sharing your experience, and sharing your wealth. There is a Chinese proverb which says one must give 10% of his earning in charity. And in changing times, another 20% of your earning in investments, not in saving. I say in investment. Because ultimately, everything runs on money as far as we are concerned. So you will have to share everything. If you are able to share, if I am standing here giving you my experiences of life, what I am trying to do is, I am trying to share my experiences, my knowledge, my networking with all of you. And that gives me what? That gives me a pleasure. That gives me the happiness. So I am not in stress at all. Why should I be? And you have to share your work. You'll have to understand, each one of us, if we work together, and the dictum is, let us work together to make this place, this Adadana, this Meerut city, this Uttar Pradesh, this India, the whole world, a better place for living for everybody. Because you are the empowered one. You are the persons who are chosen by the destiny to become the healers. You are the persons who are going to heal the world, who are going to teach the world, who are going to lead the world. So you'll have to understand, and all that is possible, that once you come together and start working together and start sharing everything whatsoever you can. And if nothing works beyond this, then surrender to whatsoever you believe. I believe in a universal power. You believe in God, maybe you believe in Hindu religion, or you believe in Muslim religion, or you believe in Christianity, whatsoever. Every religion does talk of serving the humanity. And those who are empowered, they must work for the humanity, they must work for other people. And if things are not going, then it's a part of destiny. Maybe better things are going to come. Never consider failures as the ultimate phenomenon. Consider failures as stepping stones towards success. This you will have to remember, because throughout your career, it's a long career, maybe another 50, 60 years you are going to work in this medical field, where you will face number of successes and few failures, and you will learn with experience that every experience is going to add to your knowledge, and if you can do that, then you will be a better human being. And once you become a better human being, Before I conclude, who is a good person? What do you think? Who is a good person? Anybody? In your thinking, who is a good person? Huh? Who is always happy? Okay. जो अपने आप से प्यार करता है. Good. A good person is one who is ready to help everybody around. आप किसको अच्छा कहते हैं? He is a good man. He is a good person because he is always there to help. He is always there to help. Right? So that is the phenomenon. If you can follow these things, I think we will never have any stress. And I have not talked about any drug. I have not talked about any food. I have not talked about any exercise. I have not talked about any meditation. I have not talked about any yoga. I have just talked about the thoughts. Thoughts are ultimately which makes a person. Your quality of thoughts are going to decide how you are going to live, whether you are going to live happily or whether you are going to live in stress. Thank you so very much for giving your time. If any question or any query is there, you are welcome to ask.
So what is the difference between animals and humans?
What is the difference between animal and
Humans.
humans? We both are part of the process of evolution. Right? Animals do have brains, humans do have brains. But humans have learned to live together. That is the biggest difference. Animals, they live, but not to that extent the way we live. And humans, they make certain rules by which everyone has to live. Animals, they don't make rules.
Social animal is an
Animals, they don't make.
human is a social animal.
Human is a social animal, you can say so, but civilized animal. You can say. Human is a civilized animal. And civic sense is very, very important to understand. So that is the difference. We are all part of the evolution process. So we think we are the only one who are human, Homo sapiens, who are living on this earth, but there are a lot more species. And they are a lot more intelligent, but unfortunately, they do not know how to live together. Imagine the situation if wild animals, they start living together. Then probably there will be no humans, because they will eat all. So that's part of the evolution process. I'm happy to ask this question.
Sir, I have a different answer to it.
Yeah. Please.
Sir, like you said, we should not have fear and ego and all that, anger especially. So one power which we all have and not the animals is power of inhibition. If we master that power of inhibition, we can all master whatever this non-pharmacological methods such as what. पावर ऑफ इनहिबिशन बहुत जरूरी है. अगर आपने उस वक्त में अपने आप को इनहिबिट कर लिया तो आपने स्ट्रेस को जीत.
Wonderful. Again, yes. आवाज नहीं
आ गया और उस इनहिबिशन का काम है पॉलिटिक्स.
I'm not bothered what others are thinking about me. Right? I cannot share my 46 years of experience here. I have learned a lot. I faced a lot of flack also. Right? But I am not bothered. If I have to do a thing which I think is good for everybody, not good for me. You have to understand. If you are doing anything which is good only for you, then you are not doing good. And मेरा perception अपने लिए होना चाहिए. क्या मैं अच्छा काम कर रहा हूँ या नहीं, दूसरे कर रहे हैं नहीं, दूसरे का परसेप्शन तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. You see, it's a very complex society. जब आप कुछ काम करते हो तो हो सकता है किसी दूसरे का थोड़ा बहुत नुकसान भी हो. अंग्रेजी की एक टर्म है, मैं वो बोलना चाहूँगा तुम्हें. The 50% result of a good intention is bad, and 50% result of a bad intention is good. So it is better to have an intention than not to have an intention. Right? So whenever you are going to do something and You see, even if you are doing good, the jealousy part will also come into play. If the other person is jealous of you, you may do anything which is good, but he'll say no. इसका तो vested interest है, इसका तो वो यही vested interest बता देगा. ये खुश रहना चाहता है इसलिए करता है. अब बता इसका कोई जवाब है? इसका तो कोई जवाब नहीं. But in your eyes, what you are doing is much more important because it is your life. You should not be bothered what the other person, whether the other person is having stress or not. Stress लेने का नहीं और देने का भी नहीं. Right? Stress लेने का नहीं और देने का भी नहीं. खुश रहना है ना, मुझे खुश रहना है. अब मेरी खुशी से अगर कोई नाराज है तो भाई मैं उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकता. उसको भी तो ये पढ़ना है ना जो मैं कर रहा हूँ. अगर वो कर लेगा तो वो भी खुश रहेगा. That is his life. So if he want to suffer, let him suffer. We can only teach ना. क्या कहते हैं कि घोड़े को तालाब तक ले जा ही तो सकते हो, जबरदस्ती पानी को नहीं मिला सकते. ठीक है? Any other question?